Hi. Today I'm going to talk about something that I get asked a lot during teacher trainings, sometimes even in workshops, and that's the adjustment question. So nowadays I don't hardly adjust anybody at all in most of my public workshops, and I come from a lineage of moving from Iyengar yoga into Ashtanga yoga, which is heavily adjustment based, and then into Vinyasa flow, which also back in the day had a lot of adjustment elements to it. And I certainly have done plenty of adjustments. And it's interesting for me because it is an evolution, and everybody wants an answer like, should I or shouldn't I, or why don't you? Like there's an absolute reason, like there's a defined black and white area, and there isn't. That's the whole deal. Is there really isn't? Does anybody need 100% absolutely to be adjusted? No, nobody needs it. You're not going to enhance your practice by strong adjustments. The body is not designed to use an external force to get into a shape safer. Your body just isn't going to respond to that in a positive way in the long term. Of course, we get seduced by the feeling of going deeper, by that feeling of achievement. And sometimes it can feel just good. And then we're reprogramming that fine line between pain, discomfort, a little bit of sensation, and just something that feels good. And these can be addictive layers, right? That we lose boundaries over time within ourselves. Which is why the yoga world is riddled with people who have been injured from adjustments and not realizing it at the time because they're seduced by the deeper, intense, even painful sensation. Like, this makes me a better yogi if I am enduring this. And that mindset needs to be completely re-examined. It does. And I don't, I'm not saying anybody that does strong adjustments or stuff like that is hurting people, but many people are hurting people. So again, there's no right and wrong. There's no absolutes with the question. The flip side of the coin is we live in a society that's completely physically disconnected, and we usually only get that felt sense from another human being when it's an intimate connection to us. Even certain cultures, it would only be your partner, your intimate partner, that would touch you. And certainly not in public would anybody ever touch people. And so if we look at it from that perspective, then using touch to let people feel a sense of being in their body, to create a level of trust between the teacher and the student, to perhaps just help somebody feel more comfortable. And I'm not saying, enhance their practice or make them go deeper or show them where they should be. Like, who are we to say where anybody should be anymore? And if you've worked with me a lot, I don't tell people to get into shapes anymore. I want you to feel where your body's headed, and I want you to land when your body and your mind and your emotional connection lands in stillness. I don't want to be the predictor of that because it'll be different for everybody. So how can I, from the outside, use my hands to tell you where the should is? I can only guess. And so I want to I want to be able to use my hands to make a connection, a physical connection. But that is really, these days for me, that is really so far away from where I used to be with adjustments, where most people that do continue to adjust, where they are. So overall, I think the thing to bear in mind is that it's not that we should avoid touching people at all, because like I've said, there is that use in making that physical contact. It's something that's lacking in society, and that element is important. But it shouldn't be based on finding an end result for the student, or for your perception of where the student should be or students should be. So it's really going to be an individual choice at the time and in the moment to recognize when somebody needs assistance, just to, quite often with beginners only, how can I get them into a more comfortable position by using my hands? If my words or my demonstration isn't working, and then once people know how to make themselves comfortable, back off and give everybody a hug at the end of class, because that just that connection, that human connection physically, is so valuable. That is so valuable. And so that's what we should really focus on, is if we're using our hands, if we're using our touch to connect to people, a hug says more than anything. I hope you find that helpful.